Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616 and to day 1 of Guardians of the Galaxy Week. And welcome to the latest installment of How's It Looking? The series where I take all of the early reviews for an upcoming movie or TV show, compile them and give you guys the general consensus in order to allow you to decide if you want to see it or if you want to skip it. Today's movie is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which it's likely you'll see no matter what I tell you here, but whatever. I'll be including links to all the reviews I pulled from in the description. This includes Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, plus and minuses, spoiler-free discussion, and reviews from Variety, Comic Book Resources, comicbook.com, The Guardian, Vulture, New York Daily News, Empire, and IGN. Overall, the reviews for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 are actually surprisingly kind of mixed. Now don't get me wrong, none of them are by any means super negative, but the general consensus seems to be that it's good, but not quite as good as the first, mostly due to it having a much more dense story. Apparently it's filled to the brim with plots in contrast to the first movie, which was pretty focused throughout. On IMDb it has an 8.2 out of 10, and on Rotten Tomatoes it has a strong 86%, with the consensus saying Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's action-packed plot, dazzling visuals, and irreverent humor add up to a sequel that's almost as fun, if not as thrillingly fresh, as its predecessor. And really that seems to be the most common thread, is that it can't quite recapture the first one's magic. And in a way, it's kind of impossible for it to. See, I really think the reason Guardians of the Galaxy was as well received as it was isn't just because it's a good movie, which it is, but it was also because of how unexpected it was. It was so weird that it just seemed impossible for it to work, but it did. But there were a lot of positive things said about this one. The visuals are fantastic, as expected. The characters are all great, especially Yondu apparently, although Plus and Minus told me that Rocket was the standout of the movie for him. One of the things I was worried about, especially with Baby Groot, was that they might push it too far with some of the humor. Indeed, it is apparently a very funny movie, but sometimes the jokes just go on too long, with IGN also saying that Gunn perhaps pandered a bit too much to the audience sometimes. In reviewer Terry Schwartz's words, James Gunn plays into the strengths of his characters, but goes a bit too far with some of them, overusing some of the gimmicks makes some of the moments lose their punch. Some people have said that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a fun enough movie, but it's really more in the middle for Marvel. More Avengers Age of Ultron and Thor than Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America Civil War. However, Volume 2 is apparently just as emotional as it was promised to be, with much of the film centered around Star-Lord's relationship with his father, and also digging deeper into the other characters. One of the highlights is reportedly Nebula and Gamora's relationship, which I've really been looking forward to seeing explored more. One of the more surprising things I've heard is that the villains are actually very good. I was pretty worried that it would fall into the villain trap the MCU is so known for, but according to some reviewers, Ayesha, the main villain, is actually very good, with Plus and Minus saying she was well performed and had clear motives. He also said that this movie really felt like it directly continued from the first one, saying it's more consistent than Marvel sequels usually are. And of course we can't forget the soundtrack, which is of course awesome. The score itself was made by Tyler Bates. It has received some criticism and some praise, but the real show stealer music-wise is of course Awesome Mix Volume 2, which is said to be just as good, if not better, than the first. There are some people who have said the movie jumps into music cues a bit too often sometimes, or maybe not as smoothly as the first, but overall the music is still great. The ending is also said to be very well done. So in conclusion, this isn't necessarily as fresh or original as the first one. It'd be very hard for it to accomplish that. But that in no way means it's bad. While some reviewers have given some problems with it, overall it's said to be fun, well-made, and emotionally strong movie that's still worth your time. In any event, let me know if you guys are excited for this in the comments below. And if you've already seen it, or if you know someone who has, let me know what you or they thought about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time on day 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy Week.
If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind, baby, bring it to me. Bring